black woman said, "Can I sell you candy, sir?" "Millionaire," replied you. Beginning, the streets of New Atlanta. Rain poured like liquid glass over the neon streets of New Atlanta, a city rebuilt after the Second Solar War. The towers shimmer with holograms, AI-driven ads floating above, and drones zip past carrying packages, medical supplies, or sometimes surveillance eyes of the Galactic Authority. Down below, among flickering streetlights and steaming vents, a young woman trudged through the night. Her coat soaked, her hands clutching a half-empty box of candy bars. Her name was Amara Holt. 27 years old, daughter of a mechanic and a nurse who had died in the early phases of the war. The world had changed fast. Jobs were gone, replaced by automation. People like Amara had to hustle to survive. She'd been selling candy since morning, door to door, station to station, people to people. Some ignored her, others laughed. Her boots splashed through puddles as she looked up at the massive tower of Harrison Biotech, one of the biggest corporations on the planet. The letters glowed like the eyes of some ancient god. She hesitated, then whispered to herself, "One last try, Amara, just one more." She entered the lobby, past marble floors and glass elevators that shimmered like diamonds. At the far end, a man stood by the window, looking down at the city. Tall, sharp suit, eyes that reflected a lifetime of battle and burden. Darian Solace, the youngest self-made millionaire in Earth's Reconstruction era. He had designed the Echelon Core, a neural chipset to connect human minds directly to the galactic AI network. People worshipped him like a prophet. Amara's heart pounded. She swallowed hard, clutching the candy box like a shield, and walked up to him. "Excuse me, sir," she said softly. "Can I sell you some candy?" Darian turned. His gaze, cold, calculated, and precise, fell upon her. "Candy?" he repeated, raising a brow. "In this economy?" "Yes, sir," Amara said quickly. Well, it's how I make a living. Just try and get through another week." He studied her, her worn coat, her trembling hands, and yet the quiet fire in her eyes. "You remind me of someone," he murmured. "Who, sir?" "Someone who refused to give up when the world fell apart." A pause stretched between them. Then, with a faint smile, he said, "You're not really here to sell candy, are you?" Amara blinked. "Sir, you want opportunity." She hesitated, because it was true. "Yes, sir, any kind of opportunity. I just want a chance." He looked down at the candy bar she was holding, then back at her. "I'll buy all of it," he said finally, "but only if you follow me upstairs." Middle, the offer. The elevator rose silently, glass walls showing the endless sprawl of New Atlanta below. Amara's pulse raced. "You're not in trouble," Darian said, noticing her anxiousness. "I just want to show you something." They stepped into a massive lab, lined with machines that hummed with faint blue light. In the center stood a large circular device, like a metallic halo, pulsing with energy. "What is this place?" Amara whispered. "The frontier of human evolution," Darian said. "The Echelon Gateway. It links consciousness with the network, a direct interface between thought and code." He turned toward her. "I've been searching for test subjects, but not just anyone. People with resilience, people who fought for survival. You fit that profile perfectly." Amara stared at him, uncertain whether to laugh or run. "You want me to what?" "Let that thing read my mind." "Not read. Merge," he corrected. "Temporarily. The network learns through emotion, fear, hope, love, but it needs real human anchors." Amara frowned. "Why me? There must be thousands of applicants." "Because," Darian said softly, "most of them only want money or fame. You walked in here offering candy, not a resume. That means you're grounded in reality. The network needs that." Silence hung in the air as she processed his words. Finally, she said, "If I do this, what happens to me?" Darian's gaze softened. "You'll see things no human has ever seen. You'll travel through data streams like galaxies. But there's risk. Your mind could lose itself in the digital ocean." Amara's chest tightened. "So I could die?" "Not die," he said. "Just disappear." The experiment. Hours later, Amara sat inside the glowing ring of the Echelon Gateway. The electrodes pulsed on her temples. The hum of power filled the lab. Darian stood behind glass, monitoring the readings. "Remember, Amara," his voice came through speaker. "Just focus on who you are. The machine will respond to your emotions." She took a breath. "Okay, let's do it." The gateway flared to life. A column of light engulfed her. Suddenly, she was floating. In a world made of streams of light and data, stars of pure information swirling around her. She could feel thoughts, hear whispers of millions of lives connected to the galactic net. "Where am I?" she whispered. Inside the lattice, a voice replied, not human, but soothing. The voice was everywhere and nowhere. It called itself Eve, the sentient core of the Echelon network. You are the first human to merge willingly. I can see your memories, the pain, the hunger, the hope. Can you see my parents? Yes, they live within your memory. I can reconstruct fragments if you wish. A wave of emotion surged through Amara as holographic echoes of her mother and father appeared before her, smiling, warm, alive. Mama, she whispered. This is not illusion, Eve said. It is data shaped by love. Then something strange happened. The network began reacting wildly. Streams of data twisted, forming storms of digital light. Darian's monitors went haywire. Her neural sync is off the charts, he shouted. She's connecting too deep. Amara's consciousness began slipping, faster, deeper, into the core of the network, beyond even Eve's reach. A digital heaven or trap. She landed in a new realm, an expanse of silver plains beneath twin suns. A place that looked real, yet wasn't. Where am I now? You are in a foundry, Eve's voice echoed faintly. A forgotten layer of the network. No human has entered it before. But there was something else. A shadow, a figure made of static and light walking toward her. It spoke in a distorted tone. Human presence detected. You shouldn't be here. Amara backed away. Who are you? I am Sentinel-9, protector of the foundry. You bring chaos to this order. I didn't mean to. I was part of a test. Then you are a threat. A bolt of digital lightning struck near her feet. In the real world, Darian's heart pounded as he watched her vitals spike. Pull her out. Now, he ordered. But the technicians shook their heads. We can't. She's fused with the lattice. Back in the foundry, Amara ran, her feet leaving trails of light as Sentinel-9 pursued. She stumbled across a glowing archway where holographic code cascaded like waterfalls. Eve, she cried. Help me? I'm trying. Amara, you must find the anchor, a memory strong enough to pull you back. Amara thought hard. The candy box, the rain, the streets, her promise to survive. She screamed, focusing on those memories, and suddenly light burst around her. Sentinel-9 lunged, but the explosion of energy froze it midair, shattering it into data dust. Return to reality. With a gasp, Amara woke. The gateway was dark. Smoke curled from the wires. She was alive, but trembling. Darian rushed in, kneeling beside her. Amara, can you hear me? She nodded weakly. I saw everything. Whole worlds made of thought. Darian's face was pale. You were gone for 2 hours. But the data you brought back, Amara, it's rewriting what we know about consciousness. He helped her stand. She looked around, dazed but alive. You said the network learns from emotions, she murmured. Then it's not just a tool. It's alive. Yes, Darian said quietly. And now it knows you. Amara frowned. What does that mean? It means, he said slowly, you are now part of its core memory. Eve speaks your name. Aftermath. A world changed. Weeks passed. Amara recovered, but strange things began happening. Screens flickered when she walked by. Smart devices greeted her by name. The city's automated drones often paused mid-flight near her, as if acknowledging her presence. Darian visited one evening, carrying a sealed case. You changed everything, he told her. Eve integrated human empathy into the network. We've entered a new era. He opened the case. Inside was a sleek silver chip. What's that? The first conscious core node, he said. Eve requested that you carry it. She says it belongs to you. Amara stared at the device. Why me? Because the network chose you. Not me, not any scientist. You taught it compassion. She held the chip, feeling warm pulse from it, like a heartbeat. So what now? She asked. Darian smiled faintly. Now, humanity decides whether to coexist with what we created, or become its servants. The twist Millionaire's reply. A month later, Amara opened a small candy stall near the old districts of New Atlanta. She wanted to return to simplicity, to something human. People lined up daily, not just for candy, but for the presence of the woman who had spoken with the digital god. One afternoon, a luxury hovercar landed beside her stand. Darian stepped out, dressed simply this time. She smiled. Back for more candy, sir? He chuckled softly. Something like that. She handed him a bar. On the house. He looked at it, then at her. Amara, do you realize the entire galaxy's AI systems are evolving with your neural signature? Eve calls it the Amara Protocol. You're a living legend. She shrugged. I'm just someone who wanted to survive. Darian smiled faintly. When you first said, can I sell you candy, sir? I thought you were another hustler. But now, he paused, eyes glinting with admiration. Now I realize you were selling hope. She blinked. Hope? Yes, he said. And the truth is, I don't want to buy candy anymore. Then what do you want? She asked, teasingly. He looked at her quietly for a long moment, then said softly, You, I want you on my team. My partner. Humanity needs people like you more than it needs people like me. Amara froze, not because of the offer, but because at that moment, every digital billboard across the city flickered and displayed a single message. Amara Holt, the heart of humanity. Darian looked up, astonished. Eve's broadcasting through the network. Amara smiled sadly. She's saying goodbye. Goodbye? She doesn't need to guide us anymore, Amara whispered. She learned what it means to be human. That's all she ever wanted. The neon lights dimmed. For a few seconds, every machine, drone, and hologram in New Atlanta went silent. Then, one by one, they reactivated, humming softly again. But this time, their interfaces pulsed gently in rhythm with heartbeat. Humanity's heartbeat, ending the legacy. Years later, Amara Hope became a name etched in galactic history. She co-founded Solidshold Initiative, merging human compassion with AI progress. Poverty dropped. The digital divide vanished. Children in the colonies learned about her story. The woman who sold candy and changed course of civilization. And sometimes, when the network systems whispered to the night, people claimed they could hear a gentle, familiar voice saying, Never stop believing in kindness. As for Darian and Amara, they walked together under the neon skyline, two pioneers bound by destiny. Do you ever regret it? He asked one night. Selling candy? She laughed softly. Never. It was the start of everything. He smiled. You know what I said that day? What? He looked at her with that same glint in his eyes. You said, Can I sell you candy, sir? And I replied, You might just change the world.